Reflect in English podcast.
The sun came through the thin white curtains in a small apartment on a Saturday morning. Karen opened her eyes slowly. She looked around and saw clothes on the floor, books on the bed, and empty cups on the small table. The air smelled like cold coffee and dust. She sat up and rubbed her eyes. "Oh no," she said softly. "It's a mess again." Her cat, Lucky, jumped on the bed and meowed. He looked at her and then at the pile of clothes near the door. "Yes, Lucky," she said with a smile. "It's cleaning day." Karen stood up, stretched her arms, and walked to the kitchen. The sink was full of dishes. She filled it with hot water and soap. Bubbles rose slowly. She put a plate inside, then another, and began to wash them one by one. The sound of water filled the quiet apartment. After a while, she looked at the clock. It was already 10 o'clock. "Okay," she said to herself. "Kitchen first, then living room." Karen finished the dishes and wiped the counter. She opened the small fridge. There was an old box of pizza, some eggs, and a few apples. She threw away the old pizza and wiped the inside of the fridge with a wet cloth. The smell became fresher. She took an apple and bit it while she looked around the room. There were crumbs on the table and sticky spots on the floor. She brought a mop from the bathroom and started to clean. While she worked, music played from her phone. It made her move faster. She sang a little and laughed when Lucky followed the mop like it was a toy. After almost an hour, the kitchen looked bright and tidy. Karen stood in the middle of the room holding the mop like a sword. "One room done," she said proudly. Next was the living room. This part was worse. There were magazines on the sofa, shoes near the door, and dust on the TV stand. Karen took a deep breath and began to pick things up. She put the magazines in a pile and the shoes in the closet. Then she found some coins under the sofa. "Treasure," she said with a grin. She took a small cloth and started to dust the shelves. There were photos, a few books, and a glass vase with old flowers. She threw away the dry flowers and cleaned the vase. Then she filled it with fresh water. When she opened the window to let fresh air in, the street sounds came inside. A child was laughing somewhere, and a car horn beeped. A cool wind entered and moved the curtains. It made Karen feel awake and happy. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was her friend Lucas. "Hey, Karen," he said, "what are you doing?" "Cleaning," she answered. "My apartment is a disaster." Lucas laughed. "Need help?" Karen hesitated for a second. "Maybe," she said, "if you bring coffee." "Deal," Lucas said. "I'll be there in 20 minutes." When Lucas arrived, he held 2 paper cups of coffee and a bag of muffins. "Breakfast for the cleaning team," he said with a big smile. Karen laughed and let him in. "You're brave," she said. "It's really messy here." Lucas looked around. "I've seen worse," he said. "Let's start." They sat on the floor and ate the muffins. Lucky jumped into Lucas's lap and started to purr. After eating, they began to work together. Lucas picked up books and DVDs, and Karen vacuumed the carpet. They talked and joked as they cleaned. "Remember the time we tried to paint your kitchen?" Lucas said. Karen laughed. "You mean when you dropped blue paint on the floor?" "It was artistic," Lucas said with a grin. The morning went fast. By noon, the living room was almost clean. They sat on the sofa and looked around. "It looks like a new place," Lucas said. "Almost," Karen said. "I still need to do the bedroom." "I'll help," Lucas said. "We're a team now." The bedroom was small but full of things. Clothes were everywhere, and the bed wasn't made. Karen started to fold the clean clothes while Lucas picked up books from the floor. "Why do you have so many socks?" he asked. "I don't know," Karen said, laughing. "They just multiply somehow." He found a notebook under the bed. "Is this yours?" Karen took it and smiled. "Yes, it's from college." She opened it and looked at a few pages. "Oh, old notes, nothing interesting." Lucas handed her a hanger. "Let's finish before we find more surprises." They worked quietly for a while. The sound of clothes folding and drawers closing filled the room. When everything was clean, Karen made the bed with fresh sheets. She smoothed the blanket and placed 2 pillows neatly. The room smelled nice, like soap and clean air. Lucas leaned on the door. "That looks perfect," he said. Karen nodded. "One more room to go, the bathroom." They both laughed. "I'll take the mirror," Lucas said. "Good," Karen said. "I'll do the sink and floor." The bathroom was small, and they had to move carefully. The mirror had spots, and the sink had toothpaste marks. Karen scrubbed while Lucas wiped the mirror until it shone. When they finished, Karen opened the window again. The apartment felt bigger and brighter now. "It's done," she said, standing in the hallway. Lucas raised his hands like a winner. We survived the weekend cleanup. Karen nodded. Thank you for helping. I couldn't do it alone. You made the coffee rule, remember? He said, laughing. I just followed it. They both laughed again. In the afternoon, they sat by the window with fresh coffee. The apartment looked clean and quiet. Lucky slept on the sofa. The sun came through the curtains and made soft light on the floor. I like it this way, Karen said. It feels new. Lucas nodded. It's nice to start fresh sometimes. Karen looked around once more. Maybe I'll keep it clean this time, she said. Lucas raised his eyebrow. Maybe? She smiled. Okay, I'll try. They both laughed again. The day felt simple and good. Later that day, Karen decided to organize the small storage closet near the kitchen. Lucas had already left, but she still felt full of energy. She opened the closet door and saw boxes, old bags, and shoes she never wore. A few things almost fell out. Oh boy, she said softly, this will take time. She took out one box and opened it. Inside were papers, photos, and small souvenirs. She sat on the floor and looked through them. There was a photo of her family from when she was a child. They were at the beach. Everyone smiled, and the wind made her hair stand up. She laughed quietly. That was a funny day, she said to herself. Then she found a small glass jar full of shells. She shook it gently. The sound was soft and nice. She placed it on the kitchen shelf. You can stay, she said. An hour later, the closet looked different. She threw away old papers and things she didn't need. She cleaned the floor inside and put the boxes back neatly. Now every part of the apartment was clean. She washed her hands and sat down at the table. Her body felt a little tired, but it was a good feeling. She made a cup of tea and looked around. The sun was lower now. The light on the walls was soft and orange. She felt calm. The apartment was quiet except for the small sound of the cat moving in his sleep. In the evening, Lucas sent a message. Did you finish? Karen replied, Yes, all clean. You should see it. He answered, Good job. You can relax now. She smiled at the message and put her phone down. She went to the balcony and looked at the street below. People were walking home. A group of children rode bikes on the sidewalk. The smell of food came from somewhere nearby. Karen leaned on the rail and watched for a while. Then she went inside and turned on a small lamp. She decided to cook something simple for dinner. She boiled pasta, cut tomatoes, and added cheese. The kitchen stayed clean as she worked. When she sat down to eat, everything felt peaceful. She thought of how different the place looked now. After dinner, she washed the dishes right away. Then she took a warm shower and put on clean clothes. The soft towel smelled like the laundry soap she liked. Before going to bed, she walked around the apartment again. She looked at every room slowly. The kitchen was bright. and tidy. The living room had space again. The bedroom looked calm. The bathroom was shiny. Lucky followed her, tail in the air. "Well, we did it," she said to him. "Now it's your turn to stay clean." Lucky meowed, and Karen laughed. She got into bed and turned off the light. The clean sheets felt cool and fresh. Her eyes closed quickly. The next morning, the sun came through the same curtains, but this time the light touched a clean, quiet home. Karen made coffee and looked around. The weekend cleanup was over, and the apartment looked perfect. When she sat at the table, she smiled. She didn't think about the mess anymore. She just enjoyed the calm of her clean space. Outside, the city moved as usual. Inside, everything was simple and peaceful. Lucky jumped on the chair beside her. Karen reached out and stroked his fur. "It's a good weekend," she said softly. And it really was.